3, start.
How many times have you witnessed someone saying they are going to call CPS, Child Protective Services, on someone? Or maybe you have called on a family, and maybe you are a family who has dealt with CPS personally. Today I plan to help others realize the benefits of CPS and the disadvantages of CPS. Public Law 93247, CAPTA, Child Abuse Prevention and Treatment Act, provided federal funding in 1974, which states all states have to abide by forming CPS. Each state is required to prevent, identify, and treat child abuse and neglect. The main goal for CPS is to keep families strong and safe, happy, and loved. Multiple families state how they were mistreated by counselors and coworkers from CPS by harassment. Let me explain the values that CPS can have, and other people use it as a tool for abuse. People who know for a fact there is abuse should make a call, such as emotional, physical, verbal, sexual, and neglect. The 2012 video recorded by Oscar Lopez called and showed authorities his neighbor, former IID director Anthony Sanchez, beating his son with a belt for dropping a baseball. Sanchez was charged with suspicion of corporal injury to a child and child abuse. With each charge holds 6 years, totaling in 12 years that he has served. Sanchez's father stated that his grandson has ADHD and only responds to a spanking. But in my previous speech, children with disabilities do not need to be beaten just because of an issue that they may have. In February 2013, at Staten Island, New York, Mamura Nasarova, a nanny, was being observed with a nanny cam. She was caught slapping, beating, pulling, yanking a 5-month-old because she would not take a bottle. Neighbors had reported when asked to the authorities that there were signs of mistreatment, but never saw her beating, slapping, or yanking the 5-month-old. The kids would just run into the house, angry, upset, and getting screamed at. They never called CPS, told the parents, or called the police. It took a mother's intuition to notice the change in her children. It is very important, if you know for a fact that there is abuse, to call the police, CPS. Do not just stay quiet. Having the police and CPS showing up at your door asking many questions about your personal life is invading it, to say the least, if you are innocent. Many individuals use CPS as a tool to form of abuse towards another person. CPS caseworkers have guidelines and rules and regulations that they must follow. Daniel Weaver states in his report that those in authority just don't take the problem serious enough. They don't even take it serious when one man has had 12 false reports against him, apparently by the same person. Rachel Bluestein reports with the Daily Beast in 2010, 40% of children who have been removed from their homes will return with no finding of abuse or neglect, according to the Department of Health and Human Services. Rachel also reports parents often find themselves in the system guilty trying to prove their innocence. Families in Mississippi and New Hampshire do not have the right to get a court-appointed attorney because it is not a law in those two states. You have to buy and get your own attorney. With evidence of how helpful CPS can be and how others can use it as a tool for abuse, let me explain how CPS would work more efficient if people did not try to abuse it. A couple separates, gets a divorce, and the parent who is angry calls CPS and the other parent to try to keep that child away. Their screaming, throwing fits, whatnots are nothing compared to getting beat, burned by cigarettes, which is caused for physical, emotional, and neglect. When CPS workers were investigating cases that are false but do not want to just throw it to the side because they want to make sure that it's not a false report, because what if a child really is being abused? Make yourself aware of your rights as soon as the social worker contacts you. She was accused of molesting her 6- and 3-year-old children, threats of losing her boys after they had made her send them to their father, to being followed by CPS workers and not being told what's going on. Following all the orders that they tell her to do to get her children back, she finds out through another supervisor who is a neighbor that she was being harassed by that social worker. She then contacted a civil rights and discrimination attorney. And then, when CPS found out, they wanted to drop the case, but she did not allow it. She wanted to fight. The stepmother was charged with harassment. The social worker had lost her job. The mother was cleared of all accusations, and she had lost her 3-year-old to her ex-husband. 3 years later, she is still fighting for her son and will not give up. I know, because I am that mother. In closing, I say, please make sure you have facts or true signs before calling CPS. Don't call in anger trying to hurt someone. The one being hurt the most is the child. If you suspect a coworker is abusing their abilities, go to their supervisor and follow chain of command. There are more charges being filed against the people who make the false reports and abuse the system, so think and know before you call.
8 seconds left.